All right, so get this.
Yeah.
Imagine a map of the U.S.,
Okay.
but instead of cities and states,
Mm-hmm.
it's lit up with the birthplaces of the highest paid NBA players.
Interesting.
Going all the way back to 1990.
Mm.
You'd think it would be all clustered around the big names like New York or L.A., right?
You would think that.
Well,
but...
that's where this deep dive gets really interesting.
Okay.
We're talking data from every major basketball city,
Wow.
even going international.
Huh.
And the patterns are not what you'd expect.
So what are we seeing? What's the story here?
Well, what's fascinating is that this map,
Mm.
it tells a story
Okay.
about the evolution of basketball.
I like that.
It's not just about where the money is,
Right.
but how the game has spread,
Uh-huh.
where talent is emerging,
Yeah.
and even how cultural shifts are shaping the NBA landscape.
Definitely. Definitely.
Totally. Like, when we were going through the data,
Mm-hmm.
I was floored to see Melbourne, Australia pop up. Kyrie Irving representing the Aussies.
Mhm.
That's wild.
Yeah, that is pretty surprising.
And then Belgrade, Serbia, holding its own with Bogdan Bogdanović.
Interesting.
Who knew these cities were churning out NBA stars?
It's really a testament to the globalization of basketball.
Yeah.
The NBA's reach has expanded exponentially, and you're seeing the results in the talent pool.
Yeah.
But it's not just about exposure.
Yeah.
These cities have actively invested in developing young players,
Oh, interesting.
creating systems that nurture talent from the ground up.
So they're really taking it seriously.
No, absolutely.
Okay, so that explains the international scene.
Yeah.
But what about the shifts we're seeing in the U.S.?
Mm-hmm.
We've got to start with those powerhouse cities, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Los Angeles, Chicago, New York.
Uh-huh.
Places that are practically synonymous with basketball.
Historically, these cities had a monopoly on talent.
Right.
They had the resources, the
Yeah.
coaching infrastructure, the legendary streetball scenes that bred competitiveness.
Yeah, for sure.
Think about the impact of places like Rucker Park in New York.
Oh, yeah. Iconic.
But as the game has evolved,
Right.
we're seeing a diffusion of talent.
Okay.
And that's reflected in our map.
Yeah, like when I saw Los Angeles lit up,
Mm-hmm.
I immediately thought of Kobe.
Of course.
But the data tells a different story, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The highest paid player from LA,
Okay.
based on our data,
Yeah.
is James Harden, who hails from Compton.
Interesting.
It highlights how talent can emerge from unexpected pockets
Oh,
within these larger urban areas.
So it's not just about the city itself,
Right.
but the specific neighborhoods and communities
Yeah,
that are nurturing these future stars.
for sure.
What about Chicago?
Chicago's an interesting case.
Okay.
You've got icons like Dwyane Wade,
Right.
who grew up in the city
Yeah.
and returned to play for the Bulls.
Uh-huh.
But the top earner on our map
Yeah.
is Anthony Davis.
Okay. Who hails from Chicago's South Side. It speaks to the deep basketball roots in those specific communities.
It makes you wonder,
Yeah.
is this a sign that these mega hubs are becoming even more diverse in terms of where talent is coming from?
Interesting.
Or is it a shift away from the traditional centers?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's something we'll explore further as we dive deeper into the data.
Okay.
But it's clear that the landscape is changing.
And then there's New York City.
Yep.
Carmelo Anthony, born and raised in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
tops the list for the Big Apple. But even there,
Right.
we're seeing a shift.
Think about the rise of AAU programs
Okay.
and the increasing influence of basketball academies.
Hmm.
These systems are creating new pathways for players to develop,
I see.
often outside the traditional high school and college structures.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
So these powerhouse cities are still producing stars,
Mm-hmm.
but the dynamics are changing.
For sure. It's not just about the big names anymore.
Exactly. And that brings us to the rise of some unexpected powerhouses.
Okay.
Cities that maybe a decade ago
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have been on anyone's radar as NBA talent factories.
Yeah, like Akron, Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
LeBron James, enough said.
And
Right?
Akron's a prime example of how one player can put a city on the map.
Yeah.
Not just in terms of basketball,
Right.
but also in terms of community impact.
Huh.
LeBron's story is about more than just his salary.
Yeah.
It's about his investment in Akron.
Yeah.
The opportunities he's created.
Yeah.
And the hope he represents for the city.
It's like he's redefined what it means to be a superstar.
Absolutely.
It's not just about individual achievement.
Right.
It's about giving back and elevating your community.
It really is.
And this phenomenon isn't limited to the U.S.
Oh, definitely not.
We talked about Melbourne and Belgrade,
Mm-hmm.
but there are other international cities making their mark.
Okay.
Dakar, Senegal, produced Dessasagana Diop,
Right.
a solid NBA center.
Yeah.
Montreal, Canada, is where Lou Dort,
Mm-hmm.
a rising star with the Oklahoma City Thunder,
Interesting.
hails from.
I like it.
Okay, so we've got international cities joining the party.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
What's fueling this global surge?
Hmm.
Is it just the NBA's marketing efforts, or are there deeper factors at play?
I think it's more than just marketing.
Okay, so tell me more.
I think so. What's going on?
Well, it's a combination of factors.
Mm.
The NBA has done a phenomenal job of global outreach, but you're also seeing countries investing heavily in basketball infrastructure. They're building academies, hosting international tournaments,
Mm-hmm.
and even sending young players to the U.S. for training.
So it's like a perfect storm.
Yeah.
The NBA creating the demand
Right.
and these countries stepping up to develop the supply of talent.
Exactly.
It's fascinating to see how basketball is becoming this global language.
Precisely. And it's reshaping the map of where NBA talent comes from.
Yeah.
Speaking of unexpected talent pools,
Oh,
let's shift our focus from the global scene back to the U.S.,
right.
specifically the South.
Yeah, when I first saw the map, I was struck by how many southern cities were lit up.
Really?
Atlanta,
Gotcha.
Houston,
Yeah.
Winston-Salem. It's like the South is having a basketball renaissance.
It's a trend that's been building for a while now.
Okay.
One of the key factors is the rise of AAU programs in the South.
Oh, interesting.
These programs have provided a platform for young players to compete against top-level competition
Right.
and gain exposure to college scouts and NBA teams.
But AAU is nationwide, right?
It is.
Why is the South seeing such a surge?
That's where the cultural shift comes in, Health. Basketball has become deeply ingrained in the culture of the South. It's not just a sport. It's a way of life.
Wow.
And that passion is translating into tangible results.
That makes sense. But is it just cultural?
I don't think so.
Are there other factors contributing to this southern surge? Absolutely. Investment in coaching is another major piece of the puzzle.
Right.
You're seeing more and more experienced coaches moving to the South,
Oh, really?
drawn by the opportunity to work with these talented young players.
Wow.
And states are investing in facilities,
Interesting.
creating world-class training centers
Wow.
that rival anything you'd find in the traditional basketball hubs.
So it's a combination of cultural enthusiasm,
Yeah.
investment in coaching and facilities, and the rise of AAU programs.
Yeah.
That explains why the South is producing so many NBA players.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about something.
What's that?
We're talking about the highest paid players, right?
They are.
Does that necessarily mean that they're the most talented?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Salary is just one metric.
Right.
It reflects market value,
Uh-huh.
but it doesn't always perfectly align with a player's impact on the game
Right.
or their overall talent.
So this map is more than just a list of names and dollar figures. It's telling us a story about where basketball is thriving,
Yeah.
but also about the factors that contribute to a player's success, both on and off the court.
Exactly. And to fully appreciate this map,
Yeah.
we need to zoom in on those cities that challenge our assumptions.
Right.
Let's talk about some hidden gems.
Right.
Those cities that might not be on everyone's radar,
Mm-hmm.
but are quietly producing NBA caliber talent.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Great.
Hit me with one of these hidden gems.
How about we head down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana?
Okay.
It's not the first city that comes to mind when you think of basketball,
No, not really.
but it's produced a steady stream of NBA players,
Oh, wow.
including Tyrese Thomas, Garrett Temple,
Okay.
and Glenn Davis.
There's not just about one superstar putting a city on the map,
Right.
like LeBron did with Akron.
Exactly.
It's about consistently developing solid NBA players.
I agree.
What's the secret sauce in Baton Rouge?
It's a combination of factors. Baton Rouge has a strong basketball culture.
Yeah.
With a thriving high school scene and a passionate fan base.
Right.
And Louisiana State University, LSU,
Right.
located in Baton Rouge,
Yeah.
has a storied basketball program that's helped develop NBA talent.
So it's a blend of community support,
Yeah.
a strong college program, and a pipeline of talent coming up through the ranks.
Exactly.
Give me another one of these under-the-radar cities.
Let's jump over to the Carolina coast,
Okay.
to Charleston, South Carolina.
Right.
It's known for its history and charm,
Yeah.
but it's also the birthplace of a three-time NBA All-Star and NBA champion.
Charleston. Wait, you're talking about Chris Middleton?
Yep.
I had no idea he was from there.
Exactly. Middleton's success is a testament to the talent that can emerge from these less heralded cities.
Wow.
And Charleston has also produced players like Kwame Brown, the former #1 draft pick,
All right.
and Anthony Johnson,
Okay.
solid NBA veteran.
Okay, this is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see these smaller cities in a whole new light.
Interesting.
They might not have the bright lights and big city appeal,
Yeah.
but they're clearly playing a crucial role in shaping the NBA.
And it goes beyond just the players themselves.
Oh.
These smaller cities are also contributing to the evolution of the game,
Okay.
experimenting with new coaching styles,
Right.
developing unique training methods,
Interesting.
and fostering a love for basketball
Wow.
that rivals anything you'd find in the traditional hubs.
This map is like a treasure map,
I like that.
revealing these hidden pockets of basketball excellence.
It is, yeah.
But what about the flip side?
Okay.
What about those cities that, on paper, should be basketball hotbeds, but haven't quite lived up to expectations?
Ah, yes. The busts, as you call them.
Yeah.
These are just as intriguing because they challenge our assumptions and force us to ask some tough questions.
Like, what's going on in those cities? Why aren't they producing more NBA talent?
Right.
Is it a lack of resources, coaching, or something else entirely?
It's often a complex interplay of factors. Let's take Omaha, Nebraska, for example.
Yeah.
It's a city with a decent basketball history,
Yeah.
but it hasn't produced a lot of high-earning NBA players.
Really?
The highest-paid player from Omaha is Rex Walters.
Huh.
A solid player, but not a superstar.
That's surprising, considering that Omaha has a strong sports culture.
Yeah.
What might be holding it back in terms of basketball?
It's hard to say, for sure.
Yeah.
But it could be a combination of things.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a lack of investment in youth basketball programs.
I see.
Or perhaps the talent pool is simply smaller.
Okay.
It's also possible that promising young players from Omaha are choosing to leave the city to pursue better opportunities elsewhere.
So even with a sports-loving culture,
Yeah.
there are other factors at play.
Right.
It's not just about having a basketball court in every neighborhood.
Exactly. And this brings us to another intriguing case. Sacramento, California.
Oh, Sacramento.
Home of the Kings.
Yeah,
A team with a passionate fan base.
for sure.
But the highest paid player born in Sacramento is Ryan Anderson.
Really?
A solid role player, but not a franchise-altering star.
That's wild. You'd think a city with such a devoted NBA following
Yeah.
would be churning out local talent.
You would think so.
Huh.
It highlights the disconnect that can sometimes exist
Okay.
between a city's basketball culture
Right.
and its ability to produce top-tier NBA players.
I see.
Sacramento might have a passionate fan base,
Yeah.
but that doesn't necessarily translate to robust youth development programs
Right.
or a deep pool of coaching talent.
So fan support is only one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
There needs to be a system in place
Mhm.
to identify, nurture, and develop that talent.
Precisely. And this takes us to another city that's full of surprises, Salt Lake City, Utah.
Salt Lake City.
The Jazz have a long history of success.
I do.
But the highest paid player born in Salt Lake City is Travis Knight,
Travis Knight.
a journeyman center who had a respectable, but not particularly remarkable NBA career.
That's unexpected. Utah's
Yeah.
a basketball state, right?
Absolutely. The Jazz have been one of the most consistent franchises in the league,
Yeah.
and basketball is deeply ingrained in the culture of Utah. But for whatever reason, Salt Lake City itself hasn't been a major producer of homegrown NBA talent.
So even in a state with a strong basketball tradition,
Right.
the specific city dynamics can play a role in shaping the talent pipeline.
And that's what makes this map so fascinating. It's not just about identifying the hotspots of talent. It's about understanding the complex interplay of factors that contribute to a city's basketball success.
It's like we're peeling back the layers of the basketball onion,
I like that.
uncovering these hidden truths about the game and the cities that shape it.
Yeah,
But I'm curious, is this just about where players are born?
that's a good question.
What about the cities where they develop their skills, where they hone their craft?
That's an excellent point. A player's birthplace is just one piece of the puzzle. Their journey often takes them to different cities, different teams, different environments that shape their development.
Like LeBron James was born in Akron,
Yeah,
but he played high school basketball in a different part of Ohio,
right.
and then he went on to play for different teams in different cities throughout his career.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And each of those stops along the way contributed to his growth as a player and as a person.
So this map isn't just about geography.
Yeah.
It's about the interconnectedness of the basketball world,
Yeah.
how players and cities influence each other, and how the game itself is constantly evolving.
And to truly appreciate a player's impact,
Yeah.
we need to look beyond just their salary
Okay.
and consider their legacy,
Right.
their influence on the game,
Yeah.
and their contributions to the communities they represent.
That's a perfect segue into our next topic. Beyond the dollar signs,
Yeah.
we've talked about geography and talent development,
Right.
but what about the players who have left an indelible mark on the game, regardless of their birthplace or earnings?
Let's start with a player who embodies that spirit. Kevin Garnett,
All right.
hailing from Greenville, South Carolina.
Kevin Garnett.
KG wasn't just a phenomenal player.
Right.
He was a force of nature,
Yeah.
a game changer who redefined the power forward position.
I remember watching KG play.
Oh, yeah.
The intensity,
Yeah.
his passion,
Uh-huh.
the way he poured his heart and soul into every possession.
It was amazing.
He wasn't just playing basketball. He was living it.
Garnett's legacy extends far beyond his stats or salary.
Yeah.
He brought a new level of intensity and competitiveness to the game,
Mm.
and his influence can still be seen in today's NBA.
It's like he raised the bar for what it meant to be a true competitor.
I agree.
What other player embodies this idea of legacy over salary?
Let's head back to Winston-Salem, North Carolina,
Okay.
the birthplace of Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
We talked about his skills as a point guard earlier,
Right.
but CP3 is more than just a talented player.
Yeah.
He's a leader, a floor general,
Mm-hmm.
a master of the game.
I've always admired Chris Paul's basketball IQ, the way he sees the game,
Right.
the way he controls the tempo,
Yeah.
the way he elevates his teammates.
He's amazing.
He's like a coach on the court.
Paul's impact goes beyond just his individual brilliance.
Right.
That's a culture changer.
Uh-huh.
A player who sets the tone for his team.
Yeah.
A leader who inspires those around him.
These players, Garnett and Paul,
Mm-hmm.
they represent something bigger than just basketball.
Yeah, I agree.
They're role models.
Uh-huh.
They're community leaders.
Yeah.
They're ambassadors for the game.
And their stories remind us that the true impact of a player
Right.
can't be measured solely in dollars and cents. It's
Mhm.
about the passion,
Mm-hmm.
the dedication, the influence they have on the game and the world around them.
Okay, this has been an incredible journey.
Yeah.
We've explored the geography of NBA talent,
Mm-hmm.
uncovered hidden gems, and surprising busts,
Yeah.
and even delved into the concept of legacy over salary.
Right.
What have we learned from all of this?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway for me is that the map of NBA talent is constantly evolving. It's not static. It's dynamic, it's fluid, it's influenced by so many factors,
Yeah.
from globalization to cultural shifts to individual player journeys.
That's a great observation.
Yeah.
This deep dive wasn't just about pinpointing the birthplaces of the highest paid players. It was about understanding the forces shaping the basketball landscape,
Right.
the stories behind those players, and the impact they've had on the game and their communities.
And it's made me realize that basketball is truly a global phenomenon now. It's not just an American sport anymore. It's a language that's spoken and played all over the world.
Exactly. And that global reach is only going to continue to grow. Which brings us to a thought-provoking question. Where will the next T generation of NBA stars come from?
Ooh, that's a good one. What cities are we overlooking? What hidden gems are out there, just waiting to be discovered? That's for you to explore. We've given you the framework, the insights, the tools to analyze the trends. Now it's your turn to dig deeper, to look beyond the obvious, to maybe even make some predictions of your own.
I'm already pulling up the full list of players and their birthplaces.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to spend the rest of the day scouring this map, looking for the next Akron, the next Melbourne, the next Winston-Salem.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to uncover the next basketball powerhouse, the city that no one saw coming, the birthplace of a future MVP. The possibilities are endless.
That's what I love about basketball and about this deep dive. It's not just about the information. It's about the spark it ignites, the curiosity it fuels. It makes you want to learn more, to explore further, to keep uncovering those hidden stories within the game we love.
So go out there, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep that passion for the game burning bright.
And who knows? Maybe one day we'll be doing a deep dive on your hometown, uncovering the story of the next NBA superstar.
That's a wrap.